Hello and welcome. This is Diana, and you are watching Holistic Vibes. This is going to be a general reading, but a release reading. So there can also be things that are like kind of there's obviously like there's a massive release that's happening in the collective consciousness. There can be a lot of old thought forms that have kind of been popping up in your reality, that have been kind of making you revisit or making you rethink. Um, it could be also like activating like an inner child, uh, like a playfulness, or like being in the vibrational frequency of flow, or like a reiterating of like what has not been flowing in your reality, right? Like what signs have you been missing or not seeing to the full frequency of what is, right? Um, Buttery hands. That's kind of interesting. You ever have those moments where you know for sure you dropped two cards and only one card is on the floor? Yeah, I totally did that just now. But that card is gone. I don't know, maybe it'll, oh, there it is. Like super hiding, right? So what has been kind of keeping you out of the vibrational frequency or flow, or understanding the blockages or the impediments that you've had to encounter or explore as you were growing up, like that, it's kind of like that interior pulse. And maybe some of you are understanding like the projections of like the what you're pushing out, um, the perseverance in relationships, understanding where your vibration, like, okay, so there is like this humility in the energetic frequencies of the alignment of nature, right? It's the humbleness in the exploration of the energies that you've been kind of playing with in your solitude, in your alignment, in the in between space, right? And it's like this. So I'm just going to throw some cards and we'll see what pops out, right? Um, because they're just saying go. It's kind of like realizing the what has been keeping you in a state of disarray or impediment, or like this, it's trudging uphill, right? It's the in the becoming the butterfly. It's that forged through fire. It's the mm, it's like there's like this reflectiveness of like your allowance, or it's almost like it's a forged in your own attunement. It's through the energetic frequencies of your adversity. Because here's the thing, right? And a lot of people, like, when you actively pick traumas and you agree to transmute the energetic flow, I'm talking to the people that, like, when you go to the grocery store and you stand in line, somebody will turn behind you and they just data dump all their entire life story, right? Like, you are the absorbing healer. And so, like, those properties are things that your descendants, right? And your ancestors, right? Like, have had to learn to overcome, and either they did it out of a form of numbing or they did it out of a form of self-preservation. And so you're kind of understanding like why they picked the mates they picked, or why they wholeheartedly, half-heartedly operated in their own reality, like what they were in flow with and what they were outside of flow with. And it's kind of like there's something clicking in your fortune of the what you're planning on becoming. It's the humility in the pathway in which you walk. Does that make sense? It can, and it can very well feel like you haven't had messages coming in, like you haven't had the clients coming in, you haven't had the experiences that like God put on your heart, like that was your path. And I'm just kind of getting like there is a shift in the way that you listen to like the creator and to like your spirit guides. And it's like through the reflection point of like alignment, you're kind of opening up your sensitivities to like what it truly means to have an abundant life. It's almost like re-inviting or reinvigorating like the role models that you've decided to pick up and mimic, right? Because like we are as children only a product of our environment, and then as an adult you get to truly like rebirth whatever elegance you wish to be or proceed with. It's kind of like you get to pick what kind of a queen you rule as. And maybe some of you are kind of like revisiting like lifetimes where it's almost like it's reactivating like the lifetimes of past, right? Of like the lifetimes where it didn't, or it was harder, or you waited and waited and there was like a coulda, woulda, shoulda, and like nothing fell into place, or there was no alignment. Or the sisters of three didn't like, it's almost like whatever was graded in that reality, like whatever battles have been waged at night, right? The impediments, the whatever's kept something from coming into a divine like mirroring, like whatever was like the impediment of the path, they're saying like by springtime all the bindings are going to fall, right? Like everything that you've hoped, wished, dreamed for is literally falling into place. It's like spring is it. They're just saying like whatever gates. Yeah, it's like there's a mirroring, but there's a slight delay in the mirroring piece. So whatever gates have been blocked or impeded, or you felt like there was a delay, something happened at a wishing well. Something happened at a key integral part in your reality that like shifted the way that you perceive, and it almost made you give up on God's hope, on like divine intervention, and that was like an impediment against like you stepping onto path, right? Does that make sense? It's got to be for one person out there. It's literally like they're just showing me like all the torment was like a form of evolution, all the attempt in impediments, because again, if you are chosen for divine impaction, like even if you only impact one soul on this timeline, that one soul, yeah, there's a willingness and a surrender in the understanding of evolution, of like the ownership of walking within your own divine trust, your own divine freedom, like through the cognitive awareness of like whatever you've peeled off the layers of your past lives, like and you've honored the journey of not only your past lives, but of your ancestors' past lives. They're literally showing me like the chains that break and bind. And like you're literally rewriting codes in your evolution of like your ancestry. I don't know. I'm talking to somebody who's doing some big work. And they're literally saying like you're calling it, like you're singing it into being. It's like a heavenly host. It's a vibrational frequency of understanding the gates that you control, and through the willingness and your own shedding of your own skin, right? Like the shedding of like the things that have bound you or kept you limited, or the things that other people pushed on you due to jealousy or impediment, or the desire of wanting to have sainthood. I don't know. There is a shift in your own perception and in your own relevancy. It's the understanding the what chords of attachment have been the battles that have been waged, the what has been casted into um, alignment. It's almost like, and they're giving this to me too, like as a reflection, right? Because if you hold the vibration frequency of it is done, and you are a true divine grid worker, then those that are impeding the grids will collapse on itself, right? Like God gives enough rope so that they can hang themselves. And like there's a boldness and a blueprint and a footprint of like the pathways that have happened up to now that have caused impediment, right? That have caused this not to come into place. But they don't realize, like, you hold the secrets of the old ancient footprints. Like, you understand, like, how long people used to walk the earth. It's like you remember those lifetimes through your cognitive vibrational frequency, through your alignment, through your allowance of like accessing your own books. And it's not even the Akash. It's like you're above that. It's like, and then what above this, right? It's the clarity and understanding that like you can only fathom what you've been exposed to or what has been pushed onto you or taught to you or your knowledge of awareness. And when you ask, okay, well, that's great, but what above that? Like, what is more expansive than what you're showing me? Can you show me the next level up? And you set back and you allow God to like peel back those layers. And like through, it's like this humbleness of like the shift of, it's not begging, it's allowing, it's aligning. It's you sitting as a humble servant, as a mere servant. It's the reflectiveness of the, what were the thoughts that I thought versus what are the thoughts that have thought me? I don't know. They're just showing me like this dichotomy switch in perspective, in like communication, in alignment, in desires, in like, it's like a peaceful rest of like a shift in the way that you're manifesting, the way that you're communicating with Creator. It's the, it's the rebalancing of the royalty of the robes that you wear. It's the crowns that you hold. It's the activation of the cosmos. It's, again, it's reactivating and realigning your gates. And you guys are, whoever this is for, like you're going to know because you've already been playing in this realm of understanding. So what's something that they need to ask as they proceed forward? What's the question? And what's the clarity? Thank you. Okay, so for those of you that have triggers with money, with procrastination, with self-worth, with pushing into what you don't want versus rather what you do want, you need to get into salt water. So if you have sea salt, if you have pink Himalayan salt, like throw that in a bathtub and soak for 20 minutes and allow yourself to identify and see where you've been blocking yourself and where you truly want to honor your own self-worth, your self-love, how you want to start moving forward. It's going to release the inner expression to how you need to manifest as you proceed forward, right? How you allow your inner heart to shine through and bloom. It's your aura is super, super bright and it reflects clarity, right? And it invites, They're showing me you want to show brightness and lightness and self-acceptance to those that you encounter, but it's almost like you're gun shy. And so, like, if there is fear, if there is an impediment of being seen, if there is an impediment of uncertainty, right? Maybe you don't understand spiritual warfare. Maybe you have never been posed with a demon where you can actually see the shadow that is lurking with the person. And, like, maybe that also is very alarming. Like, once you start releasing the veil or releasing the vibrational frequency of things that have impeded, right? And it's like leaning into like your strongest moment where you felt like God walked with you, where everything was in a form of alignment. And it's like every time that you waver into a state of an impediment or a state of lack or a state of not enoughness, or where you believe yourself to be alone, like shift those awarenesses and step into the vibrational frequency that you know the last time God caught you, right? Where there were so many different things against you and all of a sudden like God showed up, right? And I always equivalent that to when I purchased my home, because for me, it's like I put $1,000 down on my home, right? And there was no way in hell, besides great credit, that I should have qualified for this house. And God moved pieces in my puzzle to say, look, if you trust in me, I'm going to help you. And I did everything on my own with God, right? And so it's like, you may not see a way, but if you take a leap of faith, God is going to move the people in the right places to help you overcome whatever obstacle you are in or wanting to overcome, because there is alignment that's coming in this new year, right? And we're almost at this new shift in the frequency again. You know, for those of you that thought the new year was in January, unfortunately, you're sadly mistaken. That is a form of manipulation, right? The sprouts do not sprout in January. They sprout in spring. And so it's getting back into an alignment with Mother Earth, with the divine, understanding the energies and the frequencies in which you work with. And truly, like, standing in your awareness of how you're supposed to show up in this next phase. It's like once you understand you are the wind, then the wind will dance with you. Once you understand that the water cleanses, like then you will then be cleansed, right? It's like the codes and the whispers are there in front of you. And the question is like, what frequency are you moving forward with? Is it in calmness? It is in oneness. It is in peace. It is in alignment, right? And it's not alignment in the sake of listening to people's bullshit. You call a spade a spade. You call bullshit that's bullshit. Like, these are the people who are going to be living with the alignment of universal law, right? And understanding like God's word and understanding like that you are a divine being having a human experience. But make no mistake, we are in a spiritual war. And those of you that like have the swords will rise up and will focus into fully intently and paying attention to what lies behind the words that are spoken. And as you wake up, like say, God, I just want to operate in truth. I want to operate in your divine white light. Like, let that be your prayer as you proceed forward, and watch the way things are starting to shift and starting to align to get you on that higher timeline, to get you on that higher pathway. Those impediments that have been keeping you in a lower frame in a beginner's mind. Yes, a beginner's mind is amazing, right? But if you're always in a beginner's mind, you're never gaining self-mastery. And so like honoring where is the downfall, right? What was the downfall that they're saying, like it felt like God took a step back in your life, and it's like or there was like a drought phase, like where you didn't feel like you were set up for greatness. And it's like the honoring of that disillusionment, that lack of discernment, or the phase of questioning. And it's like honoring that process, because like that is going to be what's going to lead you to the promised land. It's through the shift and the understanding of the why you went through the journey you went through, and still loving the journey to get there, right? It's like so many great people will say, "Oh yeah, love the struggle, love the journey." But you know, when you're in the struggle, it's really hard to find that vibrational frequency of love, or that vibrational frequency of alignment, because like you're literally figuring out like, how am I going to pay the utility bills, right? And it's honoring through that journey and just saying, you know what, God, and I'm going to say this because it's like some of you may just get random like wads of cash or an envelope of cash like laying at your doorstep. And that's happened to me on numerous occasions, you know, when I was growing up. And it's like you won't even realize the people who are willing to help you. And it's through that shift in frequency and just saying, God, I'm open to whoever and however you want to bless me through whatever adversity I'm experiencing, right? And listen and write it out. And through the frequencies of like that surrender, you're going to truly understand and see how that is going to impact, right? And allow yourself that space to like meditate on the promise. Like, what is it that God showed you? You know, how have your thoughts been shifting your frequency so that you don't even believe that what that was given can actually come into being?